I'm back. Rhodes for the Matrixx and Rhodes show. Let's talk about Joe Rogan and YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. That's right. So, I don't know if you guys know, peel back the curtain a little bit. We've got several channels, right? Black and White Sports, Black and White Sports 2. That's TOO. So, in other words, Black and White Sports also. We want that sports, that second sports channel to be as big as the original sports channel. There's just that much content. And there's a lot of different kinds of sports content. And then we've got Black and White Network, which is, of course, news, politics, things like that. Now, for full disclosure, a lot of you will already know this. Much of what is put up on the political channel, and sometimes this channel, can get demonetized. There was a time when this channel was completely demonetized. And after about, it was months and months and months, Matrixx was able to reapply, get monetization back, but only after deleting basically every video on the channel. And you may be asking, what's going on with that? Well, YouTube does not, I'm just going to keep it real, they don't love anybody that's got any kind of like conservative ideals, generally speaking, or that cover topics that are much more intriguing. Well, in case you don't know, Joe Rogan has a deal with Spotify. Now, there's a lot of debate about whether or not that Spotify deal is potentially coming to an end at the end of the year, or if he's got more time. And then, of course, it becomes very interesting. What does Joe Rogan do at that point? Got one of the biggest podcasts in the world. Well, Joe Rogan's got a big-ass YouTube channel, too. Okay, and we know that was where his jam was. Well, even at that, 92.41 million views last 30 days. Guys, that's a hell of a lot of effing views, okay? I mean, just to give you an idea, between our four major channels, we're talking about 4 million views a month, something like that. And we feel like that's quite a bit, okay? Now, we've had some outlier months where it's been 5.5, 6, 6.5, something like that. But as you can see, for somebody like Joe Rogan, that's a lot of income. In case you can't see what that says, it says $23,000 to $370,000 per month. Okay? Now, he has come out and he has revealed something that is sort of disturbing. As a YouTube content creator, it's disturbing that this would have happened, because he's come out and he's admitted that about 25% of all of his videos, all of his content on YouTube, was being demonetized by YouTube. Okay, for one reason or another. Of course, a lot of things happened around COVID. Everybody remembers that. And Joe Rogan, that got real controversial. Joe Rogan, he's a lot like us. He likes to question, right? I want to ask questions. I want to debate. I want to know what the deal is. He does a lot of health and science stuff. For whatever reason, that stuff can get demonetized sometimes. And then diving too deep into some political issues will get videos demonetized. Makes no sense whatsoever. But he come out and he made some comments on one of his shows a couple of days ago. And this comment drove me up the wall. And if I was Joe Rogan, I'm sure it drove him up the wall. But we all found this rather odd.
Let me tell you a story about when we got the Spotify deal.
Yeah.
Tell us. We were always getting demonetized. We got demonetized. YouTube paid us a lot of money, and I'm not an anti-YouTube person. We were getting demonetized like 25% of our videos. But it's like...
Now, I'm going to tell you, we went through a phase on Black and White Network. Maybe it was prior to Christmas. Somewhere in November into December, where I swear, half or more of the videos on Black and White Network were being demonetized immediately. And, by the way, best example, I last night put up a video about Sarah Palin telling Ron DeSantis to stand down so Trump could run in 2024. Now, that video was initially monetized, okay? But listen to what I had to do to see that it would get monetized. I had to leave no description and basically no tags in the video, just a title. All right, and it monetized, and I released it. And after several hours of being out and being monetized, YouTube, and I'm sure it was the bots, but YouTube's bots came along, and I'm sure it saw, oh my God, Trump, oh my God, Sarah Palin. Now, to tell you, there was nothing, and John said this morning, they blamed it on the thumbnail. Like there was something offensive in the thumbnail, like language or something. You can go to Black and White Network, look at the thumbnail. There's nothing offensive on it. Nothing, no bad language, none of that, okay? So anyway, it is now demonetized, and I put in for a review. And I'm going to tell you what got it demonetized. After it was out, I went back in. I added back in a description. I was like, you know what? Maybe it won't be demonetized. Here's a description. And I put Black and White Network as one tag. Okay, now keep in mind, you should have up to 500 characters worth of tags. That could be 30 tags that allows people to find your content, get put in the recommendation, all of that thing. The kind of thing that makes videos successful, makes your channel successful. Okay, allows people to find your content, recommendations, other YouTube features, browse features, the kind of things that make videos go viral, blows them up, takes a video and instead of it getting 2,500 views, it gets 100,000 views. All right? On the great majority of our videos on Black and White Network, we can put no tags in the videos and no description in it. Because if we do, they will demonetize that video on that channel. Okay? And I bet if we actually went through, put descriptions and tags in all of the videos, my guess would be something in the neighborhood of about 7 out of 10 videos would be demonetized. I found this interesting.
Okay, I don't change. This is what I do, and most of the money that I was making was actually off of advertisers on iTunes, on Spotify.
Right. So you were good.
So we go over to Spotify, and then magically all our demonetization stops.
Really?
Because they wanted to get
They wanted to get the money before we left. So
that's fascinating.
Right, Jamie? Did we have any of them that were demonetized after the Spotify? There might have been like one.
That is fascinating.
Maybe one if we had Alex Jones.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. They're like...
Wow. I mean, isn't that interesting? He got his Spotify deal, and upon impact of getting the Spotify deal, all of a sudden YouTube started monetizing everything. You can't tell me that's not a coincidence. That's a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all. At all. Okay? Number one, they got concerned that one of their biggest content creators, somebody with a massive reach, not only on YouTube, but on the podcast, like he's talking, this is his podcast. We all know, if you're intrigued and you watch Joe Rogan, he's talking to somebody on his podcast. Well, his podcast gets 11 million listeners a day. Okay, 55 million a week, 220 a month, and we're talking Monday through Friday. Never mind the folks that are listening on, it's probably more like 300 million listeners a month, okay? And YouTube realizes that's a valuable, that Joe Rogan is a valuable commodity, and they were demonetizing so many videos, they chased him onto Spotify, and Spotify has got a video platform now, okay? Now, I got really excited when Elon Musk said he was going to think about rolling out something like YouTube on Twitter, where content creators would get paid money for advertisements. But he came out and he did the same thing that the Newsbreak app did. You've got to make original content. Well, good God. I mean, who's got time to essentially, that would be us working 6 channels. We would have to work around 18 hours a day to be able to put up enough content for YouTube, Newsbreak, Twitter, right? Now, don't get me wrong, if Twitter ends up paying, well, then it would get preferential treatment over potentially YouTube. But one of the reasons why, and a lot of people will come through here and they'll say, but Rumble. Well, Rumble doesn't pay anything. All right. Yeah, they provide advertising, but YouTube's CPM on a 12-minute video can be $10.50 per 1,000 views, and on Rumble, it'll be 75 cents. I mean, we'd all just say, to hell with it. We're going back to working our corporate gigs. I mean, that's just all there is to it. There would be no way to fund doing this. But I find this interesting. I find this interesting that YouTube potentially thought, oh my God, we're going to panic. This tells you they have the ability to influence whether a channel directly is getting routinely demonetized or not. It went from, I signed with Spotify, and all of a sudden almost every video stayed monetized. The only one that didn't was Alex Jones. Well, yeah, I mean, YouTube is probably never going to let an Alex Jones video be monetized, you know. But it also says, and I'm just going to keep it real, that's shitty. It's shitty. As a content creator, it kind of pisses me off. All right, it does, because that's telling you right there is influence there. All right, and that it's not necessarily just the content, or it is, or there's some blatant partiality, and we knew that, but this peels back the curtain to it, right? All right, so that means now CEO, they're getting a new CEO at some point. Maybe the CEO they had is leaving or just left, and we don't know if that might change a policy. But I'm gonna be honest with you: is anything really going to change for the better when it comes to that? I don't know about that. I don't. I thought this was interesting. I may even have another Joe Rogan video coming today, because he said some other things that is really damn strange. Really is. Not what he said, but sort of how some of the subjects he does is looked at, and I'm like, that didn't make any damn sense. You know? Tell me what you think, black and white. Oh, I did it again, damn it. I'm not editing that out. I'm not. Matrixx and Rhodes show fans, look, I mean, you know, this used to be black and white entertainment, so it kind of is what it is. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.